It's learning to overcome that inner dialogue that is coming from a place of fear and uncertainty. And on the other side of that is empowerment and self-confidence and positivity and distress tolerance and pride and just so many benefits. So
The Art of Rising. Conversations with leaders, warriors, and thinkers who live with intention. Less noise, more clarity. Let's rise.
oh, good. Cool.
Good energy, good positive everything here. That's what we're doing.
Love it.
Greetings,
Love it.
family, and welcome to the Art of Rising. We are exploring transformation, leadership, and conscious visionaries changing the planet. I'm here with a powerful brother as well, and he seems to have some of the codes that we're looking for. So if you're interested in these things, stay tuned, man. This is going to be a big one right here, man. So welcome, brother, to the show. Please introduce yourself. Let us know where you're living, what you're doing with yourself.
Sure. Yeah. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate that. Sounds like you're running a good operation here. Great vibes. I can already respect the mission and the vision. So to your guests, my name is TJ Dowling. I'm the founder of Synergy Health and Wellness, and it's a hybrid approach to mental health care. So I'm a licensed professional counselor, alcohol drug counselor, fitness professional. I've been in the field 15 years. I've worked everywhere. I've worked in schools, hospitals, outpatient clinics, private practices. And along my journey with connecting with men and young adolescent men and just everyone, my biggest question has always been like, how do I make the most impact? How do I make more of an impact? And so like each step that I've taken has put me in a better setting and in a better environment to really enhance the quality of care. So I own a traditional private practice. It's great. It's thriving. It's awesome. We're in Connecticut. That one's called Apple Valley Behavioral Health. It's in Southington. I co-own it, and I opened it with a partner 10 years ago. And it's wonderful. But, personally in my own journey, I was struggling with getting clients to move outside a session, and I really believe in the power and healing of nutrition and fitness on mental health. So the ones that were coming and actually getting out to a gym, changing their diet, they were getting better, faster. But so many weren't. So many were struggling. So I finally got to a point in my career was like, you know what? I'm going to build a place that's got a fitness center. We've got a sauna, cold plunge, holistic health right next to counseling offices. So when clients come to us now, they're coming in workout clothes. They're being trained by us who are duly certified in fitness and mental health. And they're getting this full mind-body experience, which is a really, really healing approach, I believe.
Yeah, I'm going to have to make my way up there to Connecticut, man. I was already on the Google map. I was like, man, I could get there. That's no problem.
You can get there anytime. Let's do it. Let's do it.
I love it. I love it. So now I met you, or I was led to you by another great friend of ours, Michael Cristoforo, right? Shout out to him.
What's up, Mike?
Great guy, man. The guy is athletic, mindset, health, all that. And yeah. Great guy. And I see that he's done some work with you too.
100%. Yeah. I've gone out to train with him for a couple different weekend events, and he really helped me improve my breathwork practices, my cold plunging experiences. And they were transformative. They absolutely were. I mean, I get deeper in my breath work when I have somebody like Michael there kind of cueing me and coaching me than I can do on my own. And I'm forever grateful for those experiences. I come out of those enlightened, and, it's just been a catalyst for this journey. My whole mission is to just spread as much love as possible. And,
right. And then to be the best version of ourselves too. Yeah. And how would that happen? Only by pushing ourselves to the limit and then beyond. That's how it's done.
Yeah, agreed.
My story is the short of the long is that I had a dream that I was in the wilderness with a couple of guys, and it was snowing. I remember the snow and the ice very vivid. And we got into the riverbed, into our necks. We had the knitted hat on. We were just feeling each other like, yeah, this is great, And then we started running through the wilderness, and I saw people looking at us, And then I woke up, and then fast forward like 8 or 9 months later, I heard that this guy Wim Hof was having the workshop in Brooklyn, in Williamsburg. So, I took a couple of things as a sign and I went there, and that's where I met Michael. He was from the tri-state area, and I was like, hey, I'm starting this thing. Would you like to come? And yeah, he came, took me under his wing, came here half a dozen times, and yeah, bro, just I was off to the races, man.
I
Oh
know. I hear
man,
you.
yep. Just from that one dream, it was prophetic,
Good for
bro.
you. Good for you. Yeah. And I think it takes a level to be in tune with that, right? How many people just have that fleeting dream and then just,
Yeah.
get on with their day? But that resonated with you and you kind of transformed it into action, which is what I'm about.
Hmm. Yeah, for real, for real. I love it. So I was looking a little bit more into you a little closer and see what you're doing and you're working. And I do want to
Yeah.
try to get into
Sure.
some areas as much as we
Sure.
can. But perhaps you could tell me a little bit more about the men's work that you're doing and working with other men who are struggling with certain things. How has it led you? Into that type of work, and then also leading into the synergy health and wellness.
Yeah. Great question. It's a unique time in mental health, and the stigma is dropping. More and more people are comfortable seeking therapy with a provider, but I personally feel like the last demographic to seek help has been the adult male, or the young adult male. I mean, and they are, but there's a lot of men that seem to be open to coming into a hybrid facility like mine, where there's a gym and wellness and fitness as part of the mental health journey. It kind of breaks the ice a little bit more. And once we're getting them moving and breathing and sweating and some endorphins flowing, they're opening up at new levels, and they need it. That population needs support. And I think that there's just a lot of people that have been conditioned from an early age to just suck it up and white knuckle it and just deal with it. And you know the maladaptive mechanisms by which they cope, because they don't talk about their emotions, are addiction and violence and you know chronic depression and all of these underlying issues. So I tried to create a space where it felt like men could be men, but also had the support to express themselves and feel like they were identifying and relating to this to self improvement versus a negative association to what they're doing here. So
Mm.
that's kind of what led me to want it to open the door more for fitness and mental health and combine the two.
Yeah, yeah. For us as well, me personally, once I got a little bit more clear on things and I put things down, I was like, oh shit, I didn't even know I was carrying that. I was like, I'm not
Mm,
picking that up anymore. No, I'm not doing that anymore. And then once you get that little bit of clarity, then you see other brothers coming through and you be like, wow, you're leaving so much on the table. You don't have
so
to walk
much.
around with that. You see, because for me, TJ, the big thing was the guilt and the shame. That was the one that was getting me. I didn't know, and I was just like coming into this life and I was already guilty. I was born a sinner. I was like, I just got here, what I'm saying? But then when you start doing some things that are not serving to yourself and to others, then they stay there like a stain. And then it keeps reminding me, oh, remember what you did that time? Oh, look,
Yeah.
you were
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah,
Mm,
yeah. And it takes things like confronting that through these spaces, through these environments, for you to really kind of identify that, surface it, and then work through it. And I think you're right. I think there's a lot of people that just have that kind of repressed, and they're just ripping and running, trying to avoid the discomfort. But like what you do kind of helps unpack that and unleash that,
mm,
because when you're in the cold, or you're out in the wilderness, or you're in a deep meditation, it's coming, and it's coming,
mhm.
and it's like these are healthy mechanisms by which to think about this, and offload some of this.
Yeah, for sure. Because I was indoctrinated in the rites of passage, like most men are. Go have a drink and go get a couple of women and get some money and go hurt somebody.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
was the rite of passage. But when I got old, I was like, no, that's not. Nah, that's not it. That's I'm hurting myself, bro. Like I, that movie's not gonna end well for me. And I
I
started
agree.
seeing that and
Yeah.
then helping. Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. It's cool. It's when somebody walks in the door, like if I've got a guy, maybe it's a first responder, maybe it's like a middle-aged guy who used to be athletic, but after kids and a job and a mortgage, kind of putting everyone else first, started to put on weight and feel dysthymic and depressed and maladaptively coping and kind of lost that spark, right? Those kind of people, they'll come in, we'll spend some time kind of processing what's going on, what they need to offload, really kind of spend a good amount of time just supporting what's going on. And then we reset by stepping out and going into the cold plunge. And that 3 minutes or so that they're in there is just, it's amazing to watch them get out, activated, recharged, go right out into the gym, start rowing, start lifting weights. 90
Mhm.
minutes later, when they're hitting the sauna at the end of the visit, they're
Mhm.
floating. They're just
Yep.
like, they did it all:
Flying.
mind, body, soul. They took care of everything they needed in that visit, and it was like
Yeah.
awesome to see.
Yeah, it is awesome, and I experienced it often too. And some guys be like, "Oh, well, I'm good. I go to the gym." I'm like, "Bro, you're missing it. It's not just going and moving the
Right.
weights, bro. You got to There's more.
Yeah.
There's a
Yeah.
chemical reaction that's happening when you're putting yourself in these intense stressors.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
we do the sweat lodge too. I've
Love
done that
that.
before, but the cold, there's something about that. The two
Yeah.
minutes, 3 minutes, bro. It's like it activates the reticular activating system, right?
Sure.
Things
Sure.
that you
Sure.
never noticed, they were always there.
Yeah. Yeah.
It seeps into
Yeah.
other parts of your life. Like, oh, I'm gonna write that book. I'm gonna start that podcast. I'm gonna start that business. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna quit
Yeah.
that job that I hate anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
And how about
Yeah.
yourself? Like when you're in the water and you come out, how is it for you? What is it that you experience?
I was looking the other day, and I think I've done approximately 1,000 plunges now, and they're all different. Every single one of them. You think I'd have a formula now on how I get in, and you know, I need a different tool in the toolbox every day to get into that cold. Yeah. So during those 3 minutes, and where I'm just focusing on my breath and I'm trying to let go of the stress and tension in my body, and my mind can go anywhere and everywhere, and it's a beautiful journey. And some days it's like I've got to kind of pound on my chest and get in. Other days I just have to surrender and just embrace it. And it's but I've my rule to myself is, if I ever regret it, then I'll reassess, because the person I am before I get into the plunge wants to tell me why today's not the right day, or why I get a pass today, or whatever. And I tell myself, you don't get to decide on this end of it. If you go through this 3 minutes and on the other side you still decide this is a bad idea, then we'll reevaluate. And that's literally happened 0 times,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so
You sound
yeah, it's
like
an
me.
enlightening process.
Same. I'm just like that. Some people look at me and be like, "Oh, you do that all the time, man. You must be good." Like, no. Like every time, like you said, getting another tool out of the toolbox. Like, I just did this one video. Oh my God, I got so many response from it. People are still telling me about, oh my God, because it's freezing over here. This was just the other day. It was snowing, ice, and all that. I'm out there with the tub. I got the sledgehammer out, and the voice that I was recording was the thoughts in my head was telling me, "Oh man, you can't do this. Go back inside. You don't have to do it."
Right.
And I'm
Right.
like, that's
All
what's
that.
going through my head. And then once I'm in, and then when I get out, then the voice changed. Oh, you're a beast. You did it. I knew it. I knew you were gonna do it.
And do you know how good that is for our psyche? To be able to talk to ourselves. I mean, that's like you transferable throughout life. It's learning to overcome that inner dialogue that is coming from a place of fear and uncertainty. And on the other side of that is empowerment and self-confidence and positivity and distress tolerance and pride and just so many benefits. So it's a great tool for building self-discipline and just overall mental health.
Well, let's get a bit into that. Tell us about how that affects your life. You're a business owner and you're a family man, and you have all of these goals, aspirations, or callings. That's what I like to call it.
Yeah,
Because it's not
yeah,
what you're doing;
yes.
it's who you are. I can see that.
Yeah, for sure, sure. So, can you elaborate on that question? I want to make sure I answer it
Yeah,
correctly.
tell me, how has the cold exposure, help you in those other parts of your life to be whatever?
Yeah, yeah. So many ways. I think, my morning routine has been vital in my trajectory of my career. My big saying, and I took this from somebody, it's not mine, but it's like win the first hour of the day and you win the day.
Mm,
So many people that I encounter wake up and they kind of check in with themselves. And if they feel good, they have a good day. And if they feel crappy, they kind of have a crappy day. And
mm,
I don't know why we trust our emotions like that. I think that we have to act in the way that we want to feel. So it doesn't matter what mood I wake up in or how I slept. I'm not going to check in with how my emotional state is until after the first hour of my day. And
mm.
so there's days where I get up and I'm motivated and I hit the cold plunge and run right downstairs and row and lift and I'm on fire. And there's other days where I am just like dreading all of this. But that 1 hour has just been a complete, 98% of the time that I finish that hour ritual,
Mm,
I am rocking and rolling and ready to take on the day.
mm,
So it's been vital in that, and it's been so
mm.
important in just giving me the energy and enthusiasm to just go all day,
Yeah,
just all day long and just
yeah.
keep going. And the
Mhm.
cold is such a great tool for that. I mean, then we know the science behind it too. I mean, it
Oh my
increases
God, that was one of
dopamine by 400%, norepinephrine, all that. So there's physiological
yeah.
pieces of this as well.
That's one of the things that I love about this, because it's not a placebo, right? Although I'm not against placebos, right? Because if it works, it
Right,
just works, But
right.
there's the science that's behind it. Like the benefits are like through the roof. There's so many benefits, so many.
Yeah,
So it
yeah,
has helped me in all parts of my life too. Just when I don't want to, simple things, when I come up against a task or something that I'm supposed to be doing, and then I hear that little voice tell me, "Oh man, you don't want to do that." I go, "Thank you, thank you. That's why I know I got to do it." And then I lean into it. It could be like
lean
taking a
into it.
shower at night. I'm like, I just want to go to bed. No, that's why I'm going. Whoop, cold shower. Uh, I
Embrace it.
don't
Yeah,
fall asleep. I drift off. Nice.
yeah. Nice,
Love it.
nice.
I love
That's
it.
great. That's great.
Yeah. So I also wanted to talk about, I see you guys were doing some obstacle races too, right?
Yeah, yeah. So one of the big pieces of when I created Synergy, I wanted a community aspect to it, right? I think mental health can be very isolating. Typically a lot of people go seek treatment alone and then come back and then just enter the world that way. And again, Synergy is trying to break that stigma a little bit and kind of make this more of a whole body, mind and body approach to mental health. So that naturally played into, well, we need to have a community aspect to this. So although the individual therapy is still individual, there's a community aspect when we're out in the gym. We'll run fitness classes, we'll do group events, we go on hikes, like
Mm,
we'll sign up for races and train as a team. So yeah, we did. This is a great story, actually. We did this thing called the Gaylord Gauntlet, and it's an obstacle course race. And it's sponsored by Gaylord Hospital, which is a rehabilitation hospital. And they're an incredible facility. They get people back into life after an accident. And one of my very first clients on Open Synergy was a firefighter who was responding to a call and he was struck by another vehicle in a motor vehicle accident. He had a
mm,
traumatic brain injury. He lost his speech and he was sent after the ER back to Gaylord Hospital to rehabilitate. And he spent time there learning how to speak again and walk again and move again. So full circle, he comes to work with me a couple years later, working through some of the depression and anxiety associated with just life and adapting, and does amazing, does great. And then this race comes up, and I was like, full circle moment here. once a patient, now coming back as a participant, our whole synergy team rallied around him, and we just did this event together, and it was just like a culmination of like a full circle moment. It was great.
My God. Wow.
Yeah,
I had no
yeah,
idea. I had no idea
yeah.
because I was going through your page and seeing a couple of things you do. I'm like, hey, I've done some obstacle courses also. I was doing the Spartan franchise,
Nice,
right, with
nice.
Joe, what's his name? Joe Santa, right. And learning his story too kind of motivated me too. He said he was doing these obstacle things, endurance. That's what he was doing. And he was
Endurance.
some
Yeah.
place in the world, and he was like 100 miles in with another 100 miles to go, freezing weather, snow up to the waist, and they're just like wind is and he said in his mind, he was like, I'm gonna die, but not today,
Not today.
not
Not today.
today. And he
I
just
love it.
kept.
It
I
gives
was
me
like,
chills.
me too, me too. My hair standing up. I'm like, yeah, that's what's up. That's my life, man. Let's go. We're leaving so much on the table here.
I'll tell you
Um,
what, endurance racing was a game changer for me. We all have a story and a journey, and when I was kind of coming out of something big in my life, I I rehabilitated my leg, my body. Had a couple knee surgeries. I put on tons of weight. I was out of shape. Really lost myself after college sports, and after a few surgeries, I finally had that moment where I was like, I got to get back on track, and I started, you know, biking and swimming because I couldn't put weight on the leg yet, couldn't run yet, and then all of a sudden I got into triathlon. I found some local sprint distance triathlons, did those, moved up to the Olympic distance, did those, moved up to a half Ironman, did that. And then I've done 5 full Ironman triathlons. And, during that process, didn't just rehabilitate my body, it rehabilitated my soul and my mind. The flow state that I would get into on these long runs and these long bike rides, that's where synergy was born, out in those mountains, just just with myself, just knowing, hey, I'm a therapist, but I got to incorporate what I'm doing here, because this is the thing that I need people to find so that they can discover who they are.
that's super powerful. I love that. Yes, now I remember as I was looking into you a little further, I see that you've accomplished these things, bro. It's quite impressive, bro. Like,
Appreciate
I,
it. Thank you.
I've done some of the Spartan races. I have like about 18 medals, there, and I did the Beast of the East up in Vermont.
Oh,
Oh,
cool.
brutal, brutal. It was just like people just don't know. I'm like, but man, the benefits, like you get to know. I find a
So
little bit
much.
of myself there. It's incredible in every run. Like you just find yourself, man. It's hard to describe.
Yeah, well, I mean, I gotta imagine you're climbing up some big mountain carrying weight or something like that in Spartan. It's like you gotta dig deep. Like, what do I got right now? Like, you invent tools on the
Yeah.
fly. I know I have. I'm like, I got nothing, and your brain's like, well, I'm not gonna quit, so I better
Yep.
come up with some new idea.
Yep.
You
Yep.
know,
Yep.
I wear I
Ate on
wear
my snack.
yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I wear a bracelet that I created, and I give them to every member of the Synergy team. It says Synergy, but it says gratitude and grit, because for years I'm out and I'm racing and I'm doing all these things, and I need mantras. So gratitude, I'd say thank you for this moment. Grit,
Mm,
I can do this, and I would just say thank you for this moment. I can do this over and over and over. And that was born in the suck, right? It's just
mm,
you create
mm.
these tools when you need them.
Yeah, you definitely do. You have to go in there and dig deep sometimes. It's I've been running for a while now, and I'm up to like 6.5, 7 miles every day. I could
Oh
do like
boy,
7 days a week, plus the yoga
that's
and the
awesome.
breath work and the all that I'm doing, but man, just like you, there's days where I open that door and just go back in, man, like
Mm.
this silence. No, no. I'm
Yeah.
committed to this. I make it. I've made it before, and then,
What
so
what drives that? So you quiet that inner, fear or whatever, but like, there's got to be something underneath that, right? What motivates that?
thank you. Thank you for asking that because first of all, we tell people you have to hear the guy, you have to see him. You have to notice that it's him, it's not you. So they go, "Oh,
Yeah.
that's me." No, it's not you. It's that thing. right? The
Mm.
frontal lobe, we already know, like scientifically, it's this part of the brain. It's the one that helps you to navigate in this realm. You pick that shirt and the watch, and but then it stops you from other things too, like don't
Yeah.
swim in the deep water with sharks. Like it's a safety
Yeah.
protocol that we were made with. So sometimes I breeze right past them. I see you, bro. You're just obvious. But then sometimes, TJ, he is so loud, bro. Like
Yeah.
I can't shut this guy up, bro. He's just all over me. And you're tired. You're this. I'm like, and just I'm dedicated. I'm dedicated. I'm persistent. I'm doing this. I don't care who's looking.
That's
I'm doing
awesome.
this for me. For me, I want to find a bit of myself. Keep me steady. It makes me a better father. It makes me a better husband, and those
Uh,
types of things. So once you
yeah.
have some of those whys that come in, it pushes you when it's raining, when it's cold, when you just want to take the shortcut. You see it right there, and it tells you, "Oh, go that way."
Yeah.
No, I've
Yeah.
already. This way.
Yeah.
But just the other day, oh man, he was so loud, man. Oh, and then I find myself out there like at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, screaming out to the sky, like, I'm here. What else do you want from me? And then I hear that voice like, oh, remember those other times that you didn't make nothing? I'm like, shut the fuck up. And then I'm like, you know what? No, keep talking. I told him the other day,
Let's
keep
go.
talking because I have a whole bag of fuck you right here for you, bro.
Good stuff. Good stuff. I love it. I love it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
That's what it's
Mhm.
about. It's you got good standards, right? Like you have standards and becomes part of our identity. I'm not the guy that cuts corners. I'm not the guy that quits. I'll find a way. I mean, again, this is all done with compassion. I think there's some people out there that could really, find some dark energy and get some progress, but eventually crash and burn. I mean, this has to come from a place, in my opinion, of love. I'm not doing this. Um, it's hard, but I'm not doing this to punish myself. I'm doing this because I believe in myself, and I know
Mm.
that there's gold in those miles that I don't want to necessarily push myself to do today. You know?
For sure, for sure. What do you think are some of the common mistakes that guys make when they come to Synergy? Which I love that name, by the way.
Thanks.
when they come and then what are the common mistakes that they're making? Yeah,
Sure. Yeah. So
because they
two
think
things.
they're healthy and they think they're doing good.
Yeah. Two things jump out at me. The first thing is like ego. Ego can get in the way of a lot. And so a big part of examining why we're here and what our goals are and what's driving them is important because ultimately we have to get into a place of internal intrinsic motivation. If we're doing it to show the world or get more likes on our follows or prove someone wrong. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's fuel in that, but it's not sustainable fuel.
Mm,
And so really trying
I love
to
that.
let go of the ego and do this to take care of yourself,
Mm,
to unleash your potential. That's a piece of this for sure. Um, the
mm,
second thing that jumps out at me that I think is important is um, learning consistency and patience because people want results like now. And um, most people will come in with motivation, but as you know, motivation doesn't last.
mm,
So, what do we do when that fuel source runs out? What structure have we put into place? What framework have we established so that when motivation wanes, it's just who I am now? It's just what I do. That's going to get you results over the long haul, way more than jacking yourself up and saying, all right, for the next 21 days, I'm going all in on this insane goal. It's like, that's great, but you're gonna, you can't train for an Ironman in a month. You've
mm,
got to day in and day out, just put in the work. And believe it or not, that taught me moderation because I used to redline myself, and
mm,
go all out, but you can't make it. Your body shuts down or your mindset's like, I can't do this for a year. I can't train for a year under these conditions. So
mm,
it teaches you just move the needle, stack up small win after small win after small win.
mm.
And so I try to coach that and teach that. This is not a crash course. This is the long game here.
Mm. So how about when somebody comes to Synergy and they be like, "Hey, TJ, I'm in trouble, man. You're gonna fix this, right? I mean, what am I supposed to do here? Look at me. I'm 300 pounds of fat and all that." And what do you tell them? How do you start? What are the you
Well, we got to examine the why, right? Like you need to develop insight, because if I don't figure out who I am and why I am the way I am and why I do what I do, what's the function of those behaviors, I can't intelligently come up with practical solutions. So it's really about discovering yourself. And I love the motivation. I'll run with that. But there's a reason, the life, that you're in the situation you're in. So let's understand it so that we don't repeat those cycles, because that's a big part of therapy in my, as a therapist, picking up on patterns, right? If somebody's like, oh, my boss is a jerk and my coworker and I don't get along. Okay, all right, maybe, but let's talk about your home life. Oh, well, my parents don't understand me and my siblings are assholes. All right. Okay. Well, let's talk about, that team you plan. Oh, the coach is a loser. And these are patterns. It seems like you're really butting heads with every relationship in your life. And until they start to look inward and go, what's the underlying theme here? What are some of what's my part in this? And what can I do? Let's not try to change anybody else. Let's look at what we can do to reshape how we present to the world. That's when people change. That's when people change, when they really look inward.
It's lasting. It's more lasting. That's beautiful. Yeah, you talk about that, like on the social media. I see these guys like they're in the gym pushing weights and bro, are you a gym trainer, bro? Because you're not, and then give it like 2-3 months and then they stop. No more posts. I'm like, bro, that's just ego driven, bro. Like
Yeah.
it's why are you doing it? That's huge. I love that part.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell me about your family life and business and
Sure.
balancing some of these things? Because I'm a family man too, and business, and bro, it's it's not easy. I tell some guys,
Yeah.
try it for a while, and get back to me. Let me know how it works, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's some challenges there, but they're beautiful. The benefits are.
Yeah. I'm blessed. I am blessed with the best wife partner that anybody could ever ask for. She and I have been together since we were teenagers and high school sweethearts, and we have kind of just grown together and just built an amazing life for us. She's my number one supporter. She believes in everything I do, and she's just absolutely wonderful. I I was working in a lot of different places in my career, but there was a time where I was a school counselor. She's a teacher, and we had a 1-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a newborn. She was pregnant at the time, and I went to her and I said, "Honey, I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to start my own business." And she's like, "Right now, like with a 1-year-old and another one on the way." And I was like, "Yeah," and she's like, "Okay." She believed in me, and we just celebrated our 10-year anniversary at Apple Valley Behavioral Health. We've got 25 providers. We service 1,000+ clients a month, and it's awesome. It's awesome, and she's just a great partner. So I give her a lot of credit because I did the same thing again. I said, "Honey, I'm gonna stop seeing a caseload at Apple Valley, and I'm gonna take all of our savings and invest in Synergy because I believe in this model." And she didn't even hesitate. She's like, "Of course," So she's wonderful. She's wonderful, and she supports me in my training. Like I try. When I was really putting in a lot of hours for those Ironmans, I did my best. I'd get up at like 4 a.m. and try to be back by like 11 a.m. so that I had time with the family, because that was something that was important to me. I didn't want to leave her as an Ironman widow, as they say, but she gets it, and she always supported me in that. And for my boys, who are now 10 and 12, to have been to 5 Ironman events and seen that and cheer me on. And in September, I ran across the state of Connecticut in one day, and they were there at the finish line. It's like, I think I'm teaching them some good values, some good lessons,
You can't make that shit up, bro. It's beautiful. That's what it's about. That's what it's about. I tried to, my best to do that too. Just the other day, I was went out for a run. When I came back, the wife was taking the kids to school, and I was like, "Hey," they saw me. "Hey, Dad, oh, they hugged me. I'll see you guys later." I'm like, "Yes, yes, that's
Yeah.
it right there, bro." It's like the branding right in their brain.
Yeah. Yeah.
Daddy
And they
goes out
associate,
there and gets it.
yes, and they associate that with your success. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That way,
It's
when it'll come up, in the later years too. Like, wow, no, listen, my dad is, yeah, I'm like that too.
mm-hmm.
So I'm doing
Mm-hmm.
this right here.
Yeah.
So what about with the business now, and there's still young boys in your home, right? And
Yeah.
so how do you do that? How's that balanced?
This has been, a building year for us. I went under deposit on a new facility, and actually it's been 12 months now. We just closed on it last January, so it's been up and
Mm,
running. And so it's been a busy year, and I've been working late and getting home later, than normal. So it's one of those things where I believe it's temporary. As we continue to expand services, I'll dial it back a little bit. I already have to some degree, so my family understands that. But it's quality over quantity. My boys are getting older now too. They don't need me all the time, but they do need quality interactions. So my 10-year-old still loves to wrestle. We fight every day, even if it's just 5 to 10 minutes. I'm tackling him. We're just beating each other up. He picks a fight with me whenever he sees me. So every day and he says, "Can we fight?" I rarely say no, because I know that day is going to end where he's not going to want to do that anymore, and I'm going to regret those days where I was like too busy to say yes.
mm,
So even this morning, he jumped on me. I'm drinking my coffee. We fought
yeah,
for 5 minutes. That's all they want. That's all they want is some connection.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So I
yeah.
try to weave in those quality moments, and we do a lot of things together
Mm.
when we can. So it's a good balance. It's a good balance.
That's beautiful. Yeah, that's what I tell folks too, man. Pay attention. You're not paying attention, bro. It goes by very quickly. Don't blink because it'll be over. But you said something very powerful about being active too, like that. So at the playground, I'm sure that you're the same way. Like I'm taking the kids when they're young, I'm with them running, bro,
Yes,
jumping, and then you see the
yes.
parent on the side scrolling on the phone. I'm like, bro, you're missing it, bro. You stay there.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because you're right. And that was a big pain point for me in my journey. I hinted at it earlier, but I really messed up my knee. I had two major surgeries on it. I blew it out, and this is around the time that they were like toddlers, and so I couldn't keep up with them. They're running, and I'm hobbling trying to get them, and I just remember thinking like, no, no, this is not how this is going to go. And so that was some of my fuel early in my comeback, to shave off that extra weight and build that leg back up, because now I'm faster than them. And we go on bike rides, and they're like,
Yeah.
we go 12, 15 miles and go explore and all these cool things, because of that health. So I try to empower my clients too. If you've got kids and you're feeling like you're sluggish, like
Mhm.
that's motivation right there. Let's bottle
Yeah.
that up.
Yeah. Don't go out like that. No, man. No, don't. You don't
Yep.
have to.
Don't have to.
Because the crazy thing is that you could just small, small, and just keep going. Push
Yep.
yourself. It's all here. If you learn about the masters, they'll tell you everything's in your mind.
Yep.
Everything. Your
Yeah.
life, you like it or you don't like it. You're
Yep.
making it. You're the one
Yep.
who's creating everything around you. Your
Yeah.
wife, your children, your job, the income, the everything, everything. So get this right here, the mind. That's why they call this the sides of the head, right? What they call it, the temple. They named it like that because
I love
it's a
that. Yeah.
temple and you're the god of your own temple.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I think it all ties back to like the whole theme here. It's like, you have to be able to believe that you can change. So if you're down and out, or you're stuck, or you're not in a position that you want to be in, you have to have some self-worth to be like, I can visualize a day where I am the person I want to be and have the energy to chase my kids or lose that weight or be empowered to change my career, whatever. And I don't think you get there unless you stack up these small wins, like going out in the cold and going for that run, or hitting the cold plunge. It's starting with like, I can do the thing and I believe in myself, which I
Mhm.
think starts to build the self-esteem for
Mhm.
you to go, oh, I can envision getting out of this funk. Because I think a lot of people are missing that component. you know?
Yeah, definitely. It's that hard medicine, right? Sometimes we need hard medicine. Like, yeah, we like the one that tastes sweet with the syrup and it goes down so, but some you need like hard, like, oh, yeah. And then you're like, whoa, I'm better,
Right,
right?
right.
Yeah, sometimes
Yep.
it's like that. So you mentioned about alcohol and drugs, right? So a personal question, have you experienced some of these things in your life?
Yeah, I think that, my background is in psychology and addictions work, and I'm a licensed drug and alcohol counselor. But when I was coming up as a new graduate student, I was working in an inner city um, program where all of our clients were mandated. They were parole and probation guys, and I'm like 23 years old, 24 years old, and I'm like, hey guys, like I'm here to help, and they're just like looking at me like, who is this kid,
Mhm.
And they could see that my heart was in it, and they were pretty cool. They were warming up to me a little bit, but one guy looks at me and he goes, "Are you from the book or from the block?" And I was like,
Mhm.
"I don't know what that means."
Mhm.
he was like, "Are you coming at us from what you learned in school, or are you coming at us from what you learned in life?" And I was like,
Mhm.
fair question. And I thought about it for a second, and I said, both,
Mhm.
both. And I didn't get into too much detail with them specifically, but they could tell that alcohol and addiction has been a big part of my life and my
Mhm.
journey, and
Mhm.
they respected that. And I think that's an important piece of all this in my journey is I would never ask anybody to do anything that I wouldn't be willing to do. And I come from a place of not just schooling, but also personal experiences. And I think that's kind of made me who I am, and it helps me live authentically as well. I'm definitely want to walk the walk, and you know,
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
yeah,
That's beautiful. Michael Christopher, when he was here, it was the time, you get to talking about personal stuff. And, and I told him, yeah, I've been through some hard things, man. Alcohol and drugs have just ravished my family. And, I saw some of those things. So I was just imitating them too, and it was just a terrible run for me. I said, how about you? And he was like, no, I've never taken, hard drugs. And I was like, what? Like, I was almost shocked. I was like, I thought everybody did. Yeah, it was one of those things. Like you meet that guy, like the odd thing that you find, and I was like,
yeah,
wow, that's beautiful. But for
yeah,
myself,
yeah,
it was quite abusive coming up, you
yeah,
know, holiday parties, it was going fine. And then the next second there was a fist fight right in the middle of the living room. Like it was just one of those things, bro. And it
yeah,
affected me deeply. I didn't know till I got older. And then
yeah,
once I wanted to get off of the ride, I started attending the meetings and these other programs. And that was always one of the things, TJ, that came up. Always that the book or the block. It was like that.
ah,
Yeah, because we would always question, like, "Yo, have you ever had a drink before?" And
right,
and many of them would be like, "No, I haven't." We're like, well, "How are you
yeah,
gonna help us then, bro? You don't even know what it is to desire something like
mm,
this. Okay, you're reading it in a book, but I
yep,
respect that, man. I respect that.
thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you so much for being transparent, bro. It's quite helpful in some ways, man. Sometimes we look back and we be like, "Why did I go through that?" Yeah, so you can look into a
Yeah,
brother's eyes and tell him, "I know what you're going through, bro."
100%, 100%. Yeah, I look back on all the biggest challenges in my life: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and I'm grateful for all of them today. They've
Mm,
all molded me into who I am. And at the time, you're not happy to go through them. I thought I was cursed. I thought I was, all these different things. But it's like, what? That just became the biggest asset of my life. I mean, even just there's so many examples, but I know you know what I'm talking about. Yeah,
yes, I do. I do. So painful. And sometimes the guy back there tells me, "Oh, remember the time when you?" I'm like, "Yeah, but I'm not there
yeah,
anymore. I'm
yeah.
here now. I don't know why I made it. I don't know why I'm the one. There's people who didn't make it. But
Mm,
I can't change that. I'm
yeah,
here. Like yeah, there was close calls, but it didn't. go that way. Now I'm here, and I'm blessed. I'm grateful that I'm able to enjoy my children, my wife, my lifestyle. Like it's been incredible for me too, bro. And
Yeah, love that. Yeah,
that's what the platform is here for, TJ, is to just share with people that little thing that you say, bro. Some people are like, why am I going to be on the podcast? It might be that one thing that you say, bro, that one that helps that person
yeah,
come out of
yeah,
that funk.
yeah. And if to any of your listeners, if you're going through some stuff right now, I know that there's gold at the end of that journey, and just keep going at it. Pain is, this is something I've learned.
Mhm,
Pain is not my enemy. Pain is my greatest teacher,
mhm,
because it's got my attention. And the most pain is when I've learned the most. So I lean into that now, and I go, what are you trying to teach me here? And how do I need to adapt? And how do I need to evolve? And I don't enjoy it, but on the other side of that, I'm a better person. So
oh, yes, way better, way better. Oh
yeah,
my God, it's just beautiful. So tell me now about Synergy Health and Wellness. What is it that you guys have going on there? Is this a gym? Is it a counseling? Is it a you're serving snacks or what's up?
yeah, it's both, man. It's both. It's literally a hybrid facility that focuses on psychotherapy and fitness. So all of our patients come in with getting mental health counseling and personal training and fitness and nutrition coaching. So we're attacking the mind and body simultaneously. And then in addition to that, we have holistic services like a sauna and a cold plunge, just different other wellness tools, because it's a full mind body approach to mental health care. It's what I'm passionate about. It's what I believe in. We need to move to feel. And it's like therapy is amazing, especially if you're feeling emotion in therapy. But in my experience, when I'm working with somebody for weeks and weeks and weeks, they're not all very emotional sessions. They can get kind of just like you acclimate to it. But when you layer that in with fitness and movement, you feel, and that motion creates emotion, and that emotion helps us actually change our behaviors and our thought patterns and that sort of thing. So I think they pair really well together. I
Mm.
haven't met one person that's like, why would you combine fitness and mental health? Everyone's like, yeah, that's brilliant. I don't know why anybody else isn't really doing it,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
but I am. And I maybe this sounds grandiose, but I really believe that this can be the future of mental health care. And I envision facilities all over the country that are combining mental health and fitness under one roof.
Mm, you're on the right track, brother. This is this is it. Sometimes, and recently this been coming up for me. Sometimes we have this idea of how things are supposed to be, and when they
Mm,
don't quite turn out that way, we think it's not that thing, but it is that thing. It's turning out the way it's supposed to turn out. And
yeah,
yes, we're supposed to think grandioso.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
whoever made us. We're sitting in a high performance vehicle. This is a
yeah.
Ferrari that we're in. That's why we're
So
supposed to put high octane fuel, take it out for a spin a couple of times, like that. We're supposed to challenge it. And then we're supposed to help one another, and sometimes it looks
fire me
like
up. Yeah.
that. Yeah, bro. I'm like that. I'm like that. That's what we're doing here. We're the Omziel Healing Sanctuary. So my
Love
name
that.
is Omar and my name is Aziel. So it's the
Mm.
Omziel. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, the
love that.
Om is the vibration of God or the
Hmm,
higher
hmm,
power.
hmm.
L means God, stuff like that. So our staple seems to be the breath work with the ice plunge, which thanks to
So
Michael
good.
again. Yeah,
So good. So
that's our
great.
staple right there, because guys come in with all kinds of things, and I'll be like, yeah, just let's do the breath. The breath, they're like, oh my God, this thing came up. I was in the fifth grade with Miss McGillicuddy, and I'm like, bro, you might want to pay attention
Wow.
to that. That's
Yeah.
something that your mind is telling you there, okay? And then the ice. We go all year round, January, February, it doesn't matter. Just go in 2 minutes up to your neck, and people come out with these incredible stories. Like they're like, my mind was racing in the beginning, and then you get in, and they said, like,
Yes.
all of a sudden, after 30 seconds, because that's
Yep.
what we noticed too.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
approximately 20 to
Yes.
the guys come in, bro.
Same.
I'm like, yeah, man, okay. Bro, they can't even make 20 seconds, bro.
Got to get
Women
over
get
that.
in, they're all in it. Yep.
That's great.
But once
Yes.
they wait and they pass that 30 seconds, then they acclimate. Okay, now the breath. Stay there.
Yes. It's beautiful. Yeah.
TJ, they go, I never noticed how blue the sky was. And the bird that's over there, I never seen. I'm like, yeah, yeah,
That's the slow
that's it.
down.
That's the
Yes.
reticular activating system
Yeah.
right
Getting on their
there.
own way. I love that. And that's
Yeah.
such a powerful tool for that, you know?
Yeah.
That's
Mhm.
beautiful. Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
breath, it's the elements, it's the heat, it's the cold especially. It's the
Mm.
flow state from a run. You know, it's getting
Mm.
to a rhythm. It's hearing
Mhm.
I'm out on a run this morning and
Mm.
I'm tuning into the birds. And the bird I'm just hearing the birds. It's not something I forced. It's just, oh, you know, your brain waves change. You literally get out of high beta and go into alpha, and all of a sudden
Mm.
you're like
Yep.
more in an imaginary state. You're able to think in visuals and let the flow happen. And I think in
Mhm.
society where we're just like so hyper stimulated and
Mhm.
anxious, we
Mhm.
need resets, we need tools, we need
Mhm.
healers to
Mhm.
help us
Mhm.
find that reset.
That's how we used to be. We lived in villages, and you went to the wise man. What was he? He was just the guy that went through some stuff, and he has the authority of telling you, "Hey, you know, turn left, bro, or turn right. Might not want to in here. Let me hear. Like breathe. Sit down, breathe. Let me blow some smoke on you, and you right." And they'd be like, "Oh my
Yeah,
God, thank you so much." And yeah, here's some herbs, and
yeah,
things like that.
yeah. That's awesome.
That's what we're doing too, TJ. So
Great.
we
It's
have
beautiful.
men's retreats, and we have one coming up now, February the 20, 21, and 22. We have a
Nice.
place in New Paltz, New York. You know
Mm-hmm.
New Paltz, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a it's oh, what happened?
I
Okay.
got you back. You good?
Okay, good. I don't know what that was, but let me fix this. There it goes. So we have these men's retreats that we have them in Newports. It's a half hour before Woodstock,
Okay.
Newports, New York. They're very open minded and stuff like that. But the stewards of the land are in charge of over 250 acres. So they have this beautiful house there, 4 bedrooms, 5 beds. We take out the air mattresses, huge deck in the back. They have different lakes. They have a mountain waterfall. So
Beautiful.
yeah, so
Awesome.
this is one of the things that we do. Like I get guys up early, we do some movements, and then we get out there. We just went in December, and guys were, mine was racing and all that. Got there, stripped down, got the drum out. Let's go. They got into the water. We're like, wow, man, I didn't think I could do it, bro. I feel amazing, and yeah,
It's wonderful. You're
it
changing
was.
lives. I love that. That's
Mhm.
awesome. What an
That's what we do,
experience.
bro.
It's such a reset for people. They need stuff like that. And I really think you're on the cutting edge of this. I mean, this is from the research I'm doing, this is a booming industry in the next, 10 to 15 years. And if
Yeah.
we are really getting out there and finding ways to bring these men together and to help them center themselves, I mean, that's helping the whole world. That's amazing.
Yeah. It
That's
is.
cool.
It's transformation. If I had a nickel every time somebody told me you changed my life, bro, thank you. I'm like, I didn't do nothing. Like, but we like to say, TJ, that we are like ushers at the movie theater. We're just trying to help you get to your seat without knocking somebody's popcorn over, right?
Yeah.
Why? Because the movie's yours. It's your movie. We're just the ushers, man. Like here, watch, look, and learn and do something, bro. And
Yep.
yeah,
That's
it's
cool. I love
beautiful.
that.
It's beautiful. So I got to get up to your place very soon, man. I'm
Sure, man.
putting it on
It's
the
a pleasure.
calendar. Yeah, let's go. And then Michael too. He has an amazing place. I've yet to be up there.
Yeah,
You
it's a
know.
nice spot. It's a nice
Yep.
spot. I'm actually
Beautiful.
I'm going to Sweden to train under Wim Hof in April.
Oh man,
So
beautiful. Yeah,
yeah,
get him
no,
now. Get him now. Yeah.
that'll be a
Yeah.
really cool experience.
Oh man, when I told you about my experience about the dream, and then I went over there. I had my yoga mat, and the line was up the block, and they gave you a box lunch. You went inside. I thought there was 100 people there. Michael told me there was 500 people there, bro. This is a
Wow.
warehouse, okay? There was mats everywhere,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah,
Whole bunch of facilitators. Then in the back, there was it had like a 5 or 6 of these huge pools with water and a lot of ice. And that's how I met him. And the experience, right? I had this dream about Wim Hof, right? So now he comes off stage, now he's hugging everybody. Yeah, right on, man, right on. And I'm like, oh, I gotta get my hug. So I'm trying to get through the crowd and everything.
Crazy.
And I hugged him. Went, oh man, I got to him. I went, oh, thank you so much. I said, I had a dream with you. And then all of a sudden I went, oh, wait a minute, that sounds a little weird, bro. He was like, right on, brother. I was like, hey, thank you so much. You helped me so much, man. And
That's cool.
he's super charismatic, bro.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. But any way we can, get out of our comfort zones and push the limits and discover ourselves. I mean, this is awesome what you're doing, and
Thank you.
I got no doubt that it's going to continue to
Thank
flourish because people need it. People
Yep.
need it.
Yep. Thank you. Let's keep going, and thank you for listening to me too. Sometimes I talk a
Yeah.
little much too, but
This is great. This is
thank
great.
you, man.
This
The
is great.
stories. I'm fired up. Like, if you see me, it comes out of me, bro, because
I
this
can
is
feel
who
it.
I am, bro. It's
I
who I
love it.
am. Yeah, people see me
I
like,
love
oh,
it.
you're like that all the time. Yeah, if you let me, I don't want to lower my energy. I want to raise yours. Come on, man.
Yes.
Let's get
Yes.
out there.
Yeah.
Do it. What are you doing? What are you into? I don't have all the answers. What are you pushing? What do you? Yeah, show me. I want to learn
Yeah.
too.
Love that. And that's humility in its best, right? We gotta embody that as well. It's awesome. Cool.
That's it. So thank you so much for coming on
Yeah,
the
my pleasure.
show.
My pleasure. This is
Appreciate you
great.
so much. Stay right there, brother. Thank you for everyone who tapped in. Until the next.